Welcome back to another beautiful day in the land of music. My name is Douglas, and in today's video, I wanted to walk you through building a synth pad sound that would be good in a church environment here on the V stage. So let's come over to the V stage here, and we're gonna do an operation called scene init, which is gonna bring us back. So I have this scene BD7. It's got a whole bunch of effects to it, all of these different sounds. And so I want a blank starting point. I want to start with just something simple. So what we can do is come into menu. We're already on the scene menu, but if you're not there, you scroll over and then press down on the encoder and come into the edit menu for the scene edit. So we're gonna jump over, we can move back and forth between these pages within the menu with the left and right arrows underneath our screen. And then on scene init, press down on that, scroll over to OK, and then press down on the encoder again. So I'm moving pretty quickly in some of this because I'm assuming you know somewhat how to navigate the screen on the V stage. If you're just getting started and you really aren't sure how to use the V stage, I have a training course on my website. It's over 7 hours of easy to follow lessons on how to use the V stage. So if you're interested in that, go check that out, DSoundman.com. And that's gonna help you get started. It's gonna be a great resource for you, something to put in your toolbox. And so in menu, we did a scene init, and now you'll notice still says BD7 as the scene, but there's an asterisk meaning that we've changed it. And if we were to write this, it would overwrite BD7, but we're not gonna do that. So what it did is it kind of reset the board back to what Roland has as its initial scene. Just a few basic sounds, basic effects, nothing fancy. It makes a really good starting point for building sounds. Now, because we're going to be focused on the synthesizers here, let's go ahead and turn the acoustic piano part off and synthesizer part A on. So there's two parts on the V stage for the synthesizer, A and B. We can switch between those with the part select here at the bottom of this part. Now, with A on, I'm going to turn the volume up a little so we can hear that better. It's got this pedal decay string tone called up here. If we want to change that, we can push down on tone select. We can move back and forth between category, type, and tone with the left and right arrows underneath our screen. So let's start off with something somewhat of a soft pad. So I'm going to come down to pad. I'm going to choose pad string, PWM soft pads. I like this as kind of a nice starting point. So let's choose that for part A. And on part B, let's come over there, turn that on, come into tone select list view. And right now it's kind of on this choir. We're gonna come back to pad. It's not a bad idea to mix a choir into a synth pad, but we're gonna go with soft pad 2. So we have PWM soft pad 1 on synth part A, and then we have soft pad 2 on synth part B. Now we could change the volumes of these by switching between the parts and moving the level knob. So I'm just gonna hold the sustain pedal, play a few notes here. Keep both of those at 2/3 for now, and then we'll mix them a little bit more later. We could also pan these by holding shift and scrolling that level knob, and that's going to change the pan left and right of those two sounds. I think for this, we're gonna leave them both center, but if we wanted to do something funky, we could left and right split those. The problem with that is we would wanna make sure that we're going stereo to really get the full effect out of our keyboard. So let's come back to here. What I'm gonna do is turn part B off for now, and let's focus in on part A. So coming up, make sure your part select is on A. And we're gonna bring the volume up just so we can hear this a little bit better in isolation. The first thing I want to do is play with the filter cutoff. So this can really help us to make the sound warmer or harsher. I like that tone quality, so where am I at there? Let's go with a -5 on that filter cutoff. What I'm listening for here are just some of those qualities, those tonal qualities of that sound to not be too abrasive. I want it to sit really nicely, be really warm. Now, one thing I'm noticing is it's coming in too fast. So what I want to eliminate is any sort of gap between the notes I'm playing. I want this to feel really cohesive as I'm playing it. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here and demonstrate this as I go. So let's just cycle between 3 different chords. It's not bad, I'll be honest, but what I want to do is take my attack, and the attack is how fast that sound's coming in. So if we bring it all the way back, the sound comes in really quickly. So let's bring that up to, let's go with maybe a value of +20. I'm liking that. Let's take our release, which is when we let go of the sound, how quickly that sound fades off. And let's bring that up to maybe +10. I'm gonna back that off, maybe +5. I might compromise and go with +7 there, because what I want is, as I'm playing those notes and transitioning between chords, I think that sounds pretty good. So let's come back to our part B. And actually, before we do that, let's turn part A off, turn B on, and bring the volume up so we can hear that in isolation. So that's pretty in your face compared to what we were playing in our A part. So let's do the same sort of exercise. Let's take our cutoff. What I want to make sure is, as I'm building these synth pad sounds, the tone I'm starting with, I don't like tones that open up too much as you play them. So that filter that just, as you hold it, because that's hard to control in a church environment. Sometimes the longer you hold a note, the bigger it gets, and that makes it really hard to control the dynamics of what's going on. So I like a sound that I can just hold and it stays consistent. I'm gonna bring that maybe a -20 on there. And then we can compensate. So we've made that, we've pulled it way back so it's not as bright. But you'll notice it almost has a slight warble to it. That sounds really beautiful in itself. We'll bump the volume up a little bit more. And then on the attack and release, let's make those, maybe we'll go with a +15 on the attack. And I feel like it's pretty good. Maybe we'll go with a +5 on the release. Now, the one thing to note with this particular soft pad 2 is they've enabled aftertouch on the tone for the filter frequency. So just a mental note, if you're using the soft pad 2, say you're playing this beautiful benediction, pastor's praying, and then you accidentally press the keys too hard, you're gonna give everyone in that room a heart attack. So just something to keep in mind with soft pad 2. If you're playing softly, it shouldn't be a big deal. But let's go back to part A. I'm happy with this. So we did a plus 15 on the attack, a plus 5 on the release, and then our cutoff is negative 20. Let's come back to A, turn that on, and let's play these two together. I'm gonna go with like a 3/4 volume on part A, and let's play these together. Now, if we wanted to take this a step further, we could come into Assign, and let's just move over to our modulation wheel. And let's come down to our Synth A and Synth B, and let's make those the volume level for our Synth A and Synth B layers. So what this is gonna do is, as I move this, notice my volume or my level is changing for my two parts. Cool synth pad sound. I think it works well even underneath that piano. So let's go ahead and save that. I'm going to leave the volume on the modulation wheel, and let's tap on right. And let's come over. We can use a back and forth buttons to find the bank and the scene we want to save this into. I'm going to go into my C. Let's go into here. I've got CC2 is my next available scene here. I'm gonna push down on the encoder, and then we're gonna rename this one. Let's go ahead, and if we hold Shift, we can delete everything that's there, and then I'm gonna come in here and call this church, whoops, church pad. So I'm gonna slide back and forth in these positions here. So we're gonna go church pad. I'm gonna fast forward so you don't have to watch me do this. So now that we have church pad, we're gonna press down, and then we're saving church pad into CC2, tap on right. And now we've saved this church pad into just one of our user slots. You can easily fade that in. You could tie that to a volume style expression pedal if you have one of those. I think that's a beautiful sound for church. I think it fits really well. It's exactly what I was looking for from this sort of exercise of building this church pad. I'm actually gonna take this church pad, put it on my website. You can go download it for free. If the one you built just doesn't sound quite right, or you just skipped forward and you wanna go grab that without following this video, feel free to go grab that on my website. I'll put a link in the description below. And if you have any questions with what I went over in this video, feel free to throw those down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching, stay inspired, and keep making that music.